believe it or not, I was bedbound for many, many years on and off, and there's no way I would have been able to lift myself up out of the bed like this. I just posted a video on Instagram talking about hip mobility and how I gained a lot of hip mobility, but in that somebody asked the question of, well, what do you do if you're bedbound? So there were many things that I obviously did to transition from where I was on and off bedridden for over a decade to now being able to do incredible core strength activities. There were many, many aspects to my healing. The one thing that really helped with me for gaining back my core strength was to do little tiny movements. Something that I would often practice was yoga in bed. I have some old videos of me doing yoga in bed because that was something that I was able to easily do. In bed, it's easy to do little hip things here. So you have the support of your surface underneath you, which is nice and cushy. And something to gently start to do is to just sway the hips back and forth. So this is not only going to help with bringing blood flow and oxygen into your lower regions of your abdomen and your hips, but it's also going to start to relax the nervous system. So actually doing little hip sways like this starts to naturally relax. So something you can even do is prop two pillows on either side of your legs and do little sways, because if this is challenging, you can use your hands for support, but you can also just get little bits of movement in here. So this is going to start to relax the nervous system. Now, another thing that you can do is beginning to stretch and open up that fascia in the lower belly. So taking deep breaths into the low belly and releasing. This is just little things to practice when you're breathing into the low diaphragm here, breathing into the low belly, you're expanding all the fascia in the low belly. You're practicing deep breathing, which allows, again, the nervous system to relax. So just taking some breaths in and releasing. Now pairing that here with some sways and just settling in. Breathing in and releasing the breath. Now this might not seem like it's doing much, you know, or like, well, how am I going to gain hip mobility and core strength and things if I'm just doing this? This is a place to start. This is a place to start to heal, and this is a place to start to heal from true deep healing here. Allowing your nervous system to relax, allowing blood flow to come into all the different regions of your body. Another thing, now my hips were so incredibly tight, which was what this video that had this comment on. Stop scratching the bed. Get off of there. We got kittens. So another thing that you can do is prop pillows on either side of the hips and just allow your hips to relax. So this was something that my hips were so tight, I literally couldn't go any further than this. So this is something to build up to. This is a huge restorative pose. It doesn't matter how far out your hips are going, just allowing them to relax and sink in. So just taking those breaths in and allowing your body to relax. Now, if you're at a place that's a little bit, you know, you feel like you have a little bit more strength to do something else, there's some other things that you can do. So one would just be pushing down with one foot into the bed just gently, and then beginning to just lift and rock the leg back and forth. And the cats are just playing with each other on the headboard. So you can just do this, and again, breathing and just tapping the foot, and it doesn't have to be a lot, even if it's just more of a pressing down into the bed. Again, this is going to be so variable to where you are at personally, and for me, this changed all the time. you know, there would be days or weeks or months or even years where there was something that I could do that I couldn't do, you know, for a while. And if you're experiencing chronic things, you will understand that, I know. Again, breathing, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever pose that you're in here, restorative pose, the rocking pose, the pushing pose, really bringing that breath into the belly and allowing it to go. This is going to be a foundational way to just to start to get that movement in. There's many other things that you can do. Some circling like this. Go with what your level is at. You're going to be, you know, everybody's at different levels with different things. I mean, it took me 6 months to do a push-up again. I could not sit up without the support of something behind me. And now I'm doing V-ups every day. So it's possible to completely shift where you are at. Another thing that really helped for me personally was just doing these restorative poses before bed. So this was, you know, something that would help me relax. Other great hip opening is to just do some child's pose here. Something, again, that's going to really help to relax the nervous system is to do a little rocks back and forth. So breathing deep into the hips and releasing. And when I say breathing deep into the hips, that means that you're bringing the breath deep into the belly, expanding the belly, and this will expand more and more over time. And what happens is it's actually stretching all of the tissues in the lower abdomen. So as we breathe in, you can see my belly expand. Release. And that is actually expanding and releasing all the way down into the hips here, because it's pushing, you know, all to accommodate for the air. It's pushing everything and moving everything. So it is, when you say breathing into the hips, it is legitimately bringing space into the hips. So yeah, the child pose is another stretch here. And rocking back and forth is going to help to open that up. This is just gentle. Now, if you're experiencing vertigo or dizziness, this can really be something that, you know, you want to take really slow. And just find your movement here. Find where you are at with this right now. And maybe rocking, you know, is something that feels soothing, and maybe it's not something that feels soothing. But just feeling out what is a way to relax your system. Another exercise lying down in bed is just moving your feet like this. It just gives your body that little rocking. This is just like being cradled, you know. Goes back to being a baby and allowing yourself to be rocked. And again, breathing into the belly and releasing. Breathing in and releasing. So something that you can do is putting on a song. You know, a song is pretty much like 3 to 4 minutes, and just doing like one of these for a song, you know, whether that's a bouncing, you know, little rocking exercise, or whether that's just a static, you know, hold of allowing your knees to fall out to the side, or whether that's, you know, practicing something like this or something like this. Just these little tiny things, they will build up every day. Again, it took me 6 months to do my first push-up again afterwards. It took time to build up what my body was doing. So it's hard not to compare when we're, you know, watching all these videos on the internet and everything, and we're seeing what different people are doing. And I know that, you know, for me, I really just had to learn to feel into my body. It's something I don't even really like counting or doing anything with numbers. Like for me, I like to just feel what my body is telling me. And that was a long practice game for me, and you know, understanding what my body was doing. And especially when you're healing from chronic illness or injury, you're learning to understand when it's too much for the body and when there's fear that is holding us back, that's saying, oh, that's too much, I don't want to do that. And this is something, you know, like, there's going to be trials and errors in this, and ultimately, just, you know, we have to create something outside of our comfort zone in order for growth to happen at any point. So, you know, if this is our trajectory of, you know, bedridden, let's say it's bedridden here, and this is, you know, getting back to the gym and being able to lift heavy weights, like, you're going to have these little increments of your training zones before you get to this point, right? Lots of little increments. I did, you know, it took years for me to build up to where I'm at now. So, you know, where are you at now? What is something that's a growth for you right now? And then, you know, what is something that's growth for you 3 weeks later, and something 3 months later, and, you know, another 3 months later. And as things just continue to evolve, you know, for you naturally. So I hope that answers your question, and I'm trying to create content that is going to be accessible for everybody, for people, you know, that are bedbound, people that are at the gym lifting heavy weights and experiencing chronic fatigue, or, you know, even just somebody that's, you know, experiencing some kind of dis-ease in the body and they want more easefulness in the body, or anybody in the middle, you know, of that. So thanks for your questions. Please keep bringing them up and giving them to me. It lets me know what kind of content to create, and I'm kind of shifting what that content is, and making it, you know, more applicable to everybody that's out there. All right, thanks for watching. Again, please comment if there's anything, and like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.